good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, over the next 2 hours, we're going to get you the biggest of the stories right now that we've been tracking on Mirror Now. Story number 1 is actually a collection of 10 different stories that again highlight the pain and the struggle that the migrant workers in our country continue to face. We also tell you what the Supreme Court said today and the responsibility that has now been cleared for the railways, for the centre and for the state governments as far as the migrants are concerned. We ask the question then, will the states and centre finally take the responsibility and ensure that the job is done fully and in an efficient manner? Then the big question about the economy as businesses begin to open, viewers, what will be the impact of this migrant exodus? As manufacturing facilities, small, medium and large businesses reopen, will they face a labour shortage? That's going to be a big story here on the Urban Debate. We will also bring you a Mirror Now investigation from the national capital. Yesterday we focused on Mumbai, today we focus on Delhi, where several repeated calls to the Delhi helpline numbers really expose the helplessness of these telephone lines. And then, of course, we've got a special guest joining us from United States to help us understand how we should prepare ourselves for travel in times of coronavirus. These are the top 5 stories here on Mirror Now. Let's begin with the first one. The headline today was the Supreme Court taking up the plight of the migrants, the way it's being handled, the bus travel, the train travel, and some very, very jarring observations and comments made. At the end of a 2-day hearing, the Supreme Court had a lot to tell the states as well as the centre. Now, here is what the instructions are effectively to the governments. Supreme Court has asked the governments to ensure that the migrants are not charged for the train or the fare. Now, remember, effectively, that is the rule. The centre and the states are supposed to bear the cost. But as we have shown you repeatedly, that on ground, that is not the reality. And more often than not, the migrants are having to shell out from their own pocket, which is absolutely a very, very difficult thing to do right now. Point number 2, they have been told that the railway fare has to be shared by the states, that the stranded migrants must be given food by the concerned state. So as long as they are in one state, until they get on the train, and as they get on the train, it is the responsibility of the state to give them food and water. But that doesn't mean that through the journey they are then abandoned or left at the mercy of any stop station and state that comes on the way. It will be the responsibility of the railways to provide food and water for the journey. Again, things that should have already been there, but unfortunately in our country, the Supreme Court is having to say these things as part of an order, viewers. Food and water must be provided in buses as well, and the onus to ensure that everybody gets to board a train or a bus also comes on the states. But there was a lot that happened before this order was written. And Meenakshi Bhanja is joining me to really take us through that. Meenakshi, exhaustive line of questioning from the Supreme Court, lots of observations made, lots of questions asked to the centre and to the states. Take us through what really happened in the courtrooms.
Well, that's right. Very quickly for our viewers, you see, this was a matter in which the Supreme Court on its own was a little hesitant because of all the assurances that had been given in the past by the central government that enough was being done. However, day before, we saw the Supreme Court get so affected by the visuals that the judges had seen on various media platforms, from newspaper reports to television, where they saw these migrants walking on the street barefoot. They saw them cycling on roads for thousands of kilometers, which moved their consciousness to the extent that they went on to take suo motu cognizance and issued notices to the central government and the various state governments, because of which we saw this matter today feature in the Supreme Court for deliberations. And a marathon, 2.5 to 3 hours of arguments is what we saw, where obviously the solicitor, who is the top law officer for the government of India, he was leading charge and he was reassuring the Supreme Court as to how this is a very unique situation. These are unprecedented times. He acknowledged the fact that there have been aberrations, there have been untoward incidents, but he went on to state that these are isolated incidents. There has been a lot that has been done by the state government and also the central government, who are working in tandem. But be that as it may, what was very interesting is the twist and the power that we saw at the moment. Mr. Kapil Sibal, who was representing one of these associations for migrants, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was leading charge for Randeep Singh Surjewala, who's one of the interveners. At the moment these people got up to make their submissions, the solicitor told the Supreme Court that the forum of the Supreme Court should not be used for political purposes. This forum should not be used for political speech making, and therefore he opposed such people wanting to intervene in this matter. But be that as it may, it was Mr. Sibal who pointed out two certain discrepancies about how this comes within the purview of the Disaster Management Act, and Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act clearly states that the government of India has to come out with a notification which puts a quality standard to these services that the government is looking to provide in terms of in times of a crisis. So where is that notification? That being said, the solicitor also leveled a charge, very interesting charge, Tanvi, where he said that certain migrants who do not want to be traveling, they are being instigated to travel from their current location to any other native place or area to which they belong. So between all this back and forth, of course, the solicitor also wanted for the Supreme Court to await a more detailed report from the central government and the state governments in 10 days' time before the Supreme Court passed any interim directions. However, the court felt that this was the opportune time to pass interim directions that you've been referring to, Tanvi. Very quickly adding to those list of interim directions that you just read out, the other most important interim direction is as to how there has to be a wide-scale publicization or a wide-scale communication to these migrants about the timings of these buses or the trains that they're looking to board. Thus far, that information apparently is also not easily available. And secondly, Tanvi, when they're traveling in these trains, it will be the duty of the railways to also provide food and water in the railways itself to these migrants. Because remember, like you mentioned, it is falling upon the Supreme Court to pass a judicial order for the executive to again fall in line and do the basic most, which is the need of the hour.
Absolutely, Meenakshi. I mean, look at the state of affairs. If the topmost court of the country is having to tell the states and the central government that ensure these people have food and water, whether they are waiting for the train and waiting for days together or in the train, it is still the state's responsibility. And I find it really unfortunate that such things have to be reminded and given in a judicial order, like you said, because the states are not doing their job. But thank you so much for joining us and summarizing what happened in the top court today, viewers. We've been highlighting to you repeatedly, and you know, the fact of the matter is what Meenakshi started off by saying, that initially when the plight of the migrants had reached the top court had said, you know, it's not something that we should be stepping in, that the state governments and the central government are taking steps. There's only so much that can be done. But the way it's been handled and how it's just magnified over the last few weeks has also now pushed the Supreme Court to step in and give this order. Now, what does it show? Isn't that a sign of a failure of our central and state governments to take care of these people of this country, and how week after week and day after day we are failing? Even now, today. So I have decided that over the next 20 minutes, I am only going to get you stories and show you what's still happening in different parts of the country, why this Supreme Court order was so important, and how we really hope it actually gets implemented. I'm going to start with this story that's actually coming from Samastipur in Bihar. And repeatedly from Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, we've got you these examples where you see migrants jumping off these trains and rushing and fighting for food packets, for water bottles at the railway platforms. Now, this was happening because they weren't being given enough of this on the train. And when you are in the train for days together and the train gets delayed and takes 5 days to really reach from one place to the other, obviously people are going to be extremely hungry and thirsty, and those are the visuals that, you know, have been playing on your screens, which show just how bad the situation was. In this case, They had been stuck in that train, had run out of water, and the minute they found some water, they all pounced on it. They were traveling for 5 days, and food was only given to them at 3 points. Can you imagine that? 3 times at 3 points at different stations, food packets arrived and were given to them on a train journey that went on for 5 days. For anybody who says we are playing up unnecessary stuff, this is the reality. Why should this not be showed to the people of this country? Little children, women, elderly, amongst those who've been hungry and thirsty for 5 straight days, jumping on water bottles at the first sight. They were supposed to be given this at the start, and after 12 hours, it was the responsibility of the railways. We don't know what happened, but clearly this is the state of affairs that it has come down to, forcing the Supreme Court to step in and say, this is your responsibility. Please ensure there is food and water available. Shyam is joining me with the latest on this story. Shyam, one more story, and this one has some very, very painful details. These people were in that train for 5 days and they were only given food at 3 different points. That's it.
Well, yes, absolutely. This incident happened at Samastipur railway station. Now, this train had left Kurla in Mumbai 5 days back, and the migrants said that they were just given food and water at 3 stations. And what is more pathetic is that when the train reached Chhapra station here in Bihar, the train was again diverted to Varanasi and Mughal Sarai, and then it was brought to Patna, Sonpur, and then it reached Samastipur. Now, the migrants said that after the 3rd day, they were not given any food and water. They were thirsty. The train was not stopping at any railway station where they could buy water or food, meals. And as soon as the train reached the Samastipur railway station, certainly these migrants who were traveling in this train created ruckus. They demanded water and meals from the administration, but when the administration did not listen to them, they noticed that there were water bottles kept at the platform number 1. After which the migrants rushed to that place, and visuals clearly show that how each and everyone picked up the bottles, how much ever water bottles they could, and everyone was seen running to the compartments in which they were traveling. Now, it's been said that a large number of women and children were also traveling in that compartment, who were hungry, who were thirsty, and since in the scorching heat, travel for more than 5 days certainly was very painful for them. So certainly they could not restrain themselves, and at last they had no other option but to go to the place, and they snatched away the water bottles and they picked up as many they could.
Right. All right, Shyam, thanks so much for bringing us this story. This is the true picture of those who first were struggling for days to get on a train, and then when they did, the nightmare turned completely different altogether. Didn't go away, the pain and the struggle didn't go away, it just took another form. Here is another story of those who are still struggling to get a train. This story is from Mumbai, viewers, of a migrant who, with his family of 26 and relatives and everybody together, have been waiting to get on a train. They were waiting to board a train from Mumbai after they were informed that this will happen, but it didn't. Now, Feroz claims that around 2,000 people have been eagerly waiting for this train, but after a wait of about 4 hours, they were shooed away. They now tell us that there's been an absolute communication chaos from the authorities' end. Take a look.
Migrants to various places from Dharavi Sion are gathered here near the Sion station, and they have been waiting for transport. You can see that all of them are gathered with their bag and baggages here. We have with us Feroz, who's here. Feroz, since how long have you been waiting here?
Since morning 8 o'clock.
Since morning 8 o'clock. Who told you to come here? What was the communication?
So some officer called up yesterday in the evening and said that there will be a train leaving for morning 8 o'clock. So you all should be gathered around Sion, and once you are gathered, we'll get you some transportation, and which will be taking you to the stations, and from there we'll get you some of the trains which will be going to your native places. Okay. So I, with all of my family, around 24 people, got all of my luggage by all of them like walking. We all came here, and then after gathering us all around here, they called some UP people as well. So while around 7:30 and 8 o'clock, the UP people were also there. There were 2 lines created. or around 1,000-2,000 people gathered around. So after which, after waiting for 3.5 hours around, they came up and started telling that who called you, like who was the person calling you here, who called you, and who told you that there is a
So they
vehicle.
denied that there was any such thing.
There was nothing. They are telling that we are not getting any perfect communication from the ministry people, and even after all these things, they like started pulling out some people, and they like getting them away. Like
Asking them to go back.
they wanted the gathering to be less.
Hmm.
So first they pulled out the UP people and told that today is no train for them. So there were very less people for UP. They all left. After which they called up the people who did not fill up the forms.
Hmm.
So there was an announcement made by some people that there will be trains leaving. So there were many people
did
without,
not have forms.
yeah, which were, because of which those people who did not fill up the forms, they also gathered. So they pulled out those people, told them to go away, that fill a form, submit it, and then we'll call you up. So after which the other people, the other groups which have filled the form, they told them to gather together. They made 3 lines of each, and then they told that only the group leader should stay here, and rest of you will be called up. So
Yeah.
all the people left, the group leaders were there.
Huh.
After which the group leaders were told that there are trains, but we are not having any confirmation about the timings. So because of which I'll get you the calls, like the calls will be coming up from the police station again, and after which you should be coming up with your group people. So if they are calling up the people, like, then I'm actually shocked who was the person who called up yesterday. Because of which we had to face so many circumstances. All the families, the children.
Clearly, there is a lack of communication, coordination. No one seems to be saying, no one seems to be really taking any responsibility. That has been your experience so far.
Absolutely, because since like these 6 hours of my life has been the most pathetic, I can say. Because of the miscommunication in the ministry and the police people, and also the public, we are all the middle class families who are not capable of traveling by a flight or not able to take their own cars or any vehicles, are suffering these type of circumstances. Like, it's really hatred.
So how long do you intend?
Well, that was the story just of one family. But the story is not different from thousands of others who've actually gone through it. In fact, let's continue with more stories from Mumbai itself. Disha is joining me live, and Disha has actually been tracking what's been happening in Dharavi throughout the day, where people were gathering because they were told they'll be given buses to leave for their homes. And that was a huge crowd that through the day gathered there. Remember, viewers, Dharavi is that area which is extremely crowded and has had a high number of cases. Many parts of it are actually containment zones. So let's go across to Disha to get you an insight into what is happening. Disha, in a place like Dharavi, it seems there is a plan to allow some people to leave from there. Buses came, but there was huge amount of overcrowding. What are people telling you?
Well, certainly, Tanvi. In fact, I would want to show you we are exactly at the same spot. Here, of course, this road that you see, this entire lane in the morning was full of migrants. At least 1,000 to 1,500 they had gathered here because the police had informed them that there will be buses which will take them to the railway station, and there will be train which will head directly to West Bengal. And that is what was the communication. So from 6 o'clock in the morning till at least 4 to 5 hours, migrants were here queuing up. Social distancing was not at all maintained. But I want to particularly go to one such family here, and this is one of the visual that we are showing you, Tanvi. This is the family which stays in Dharavi. They were being communicated by the police that there will be train which will leave from VT. They wanted to go to Bihar, but they spent the entire day in VT, at VT railway station, and later they were just being told there are no trains, and right now the family is back here. You can see that they were all prepared to go back, but at the end of the day they are very disappointed. They are here again with the luggage. We will directly speak to one of the family member here. शुक्रिया हमारे चैनल पे बात करने के लिए. आप बताइए, आप जैसे हमको बता रहे थे आप सुबह 6 बजे से VT स्टेशन पे थे और पूरा दिन स्ट्रगल करने के बाद आप बच्चों के साथ वापस आपके घर ही लौटे हैं.
सबसे पहले बात मैं अपना इंटरव्यू देना चाहता हूँ मैडम. मेरा नाम मोहम्मद सोहेल है, मैं धारावी का रहने वाला हूँ। मैं ट्रैवल करने के लिए अपना फॉर्म सबमिट करा सबसे पहले सावनगर पुलिस चौकी में परसों के दिन, बट पुलिस वाले ने बोला कि ये फॉर्म सबमिट नहीं होगा, आप लोग अपना बैग उठाओ और बैग उठा के सीधा ये रेलवे स्टेशन वीटी जाओ, वहाँ आप लोग को विदाउट टिकट विदाउट फॉर्म का भेजा जा रहा है बिहार।
ये पुलिस ने आपसे कहा कि फॉर्म सबमिट करने का ज़रूरत नहीं है।
जी, तो मैंने वो फॉर्म सबमिट नहीं करके मैं अपने घर पे आ गया, उसका जीरोक्स निकाल के मैं एक दिन का टाइम वेस्ट किया। और मैंने आज जो है ना सुबह मैं बोला जब बिगड़ टिकट विदाउट फॉर्म का आदमी जा ही रहा है, सब आदमी जा रहे हैं, तो मुझे कौन रोकेगा, जब मैं भी तो एक आम इंसान हूँ। तो मैं आज सब परिवार को लेके मैं अपना चले गया। जब सुबह 7 बजे मैं वहाँ पहुँचा हूँ तो सुबह 7 से लेके 9 के बीच तक कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं था, लेकिन 9 के बाद एक हवलदार आता है और सीधा इतना ही पूछता है आप लोग को किधर जाना है। मैंने उसको बोला सर हम लोग बिहार जाने वाले हैं, बिहार का गाड़ी है। उसने बोला कि अभी बता नहीं सकते कंफर्म है या नहीं, लेकिन आप लोग यहाँ से चले जाओ, नहीं तो दूसरा साहब आएगा तो डंडा मारेगा। वाकई ऐसा ही हुआ, दूसरा साहब उधर से आया, सीधा डंडा मारते हुए सबको भगा के लेके गया सीधा वो रेलवे स्टेशन 18 नंबर से लेके सीधा वो क्या बोलते सिग्नल के पास, जस्ट सिग्नल के पास जाके सबको छोड़ दिया।
तो वहाँ पे वीटी पे आपको कुछ बताया कि अभी नेक्स्ट ट्रेन बिहार के लिए कब जाने वाली, कुछ भी इन्फॉर्मेशन
कुछ नहीं बता रहे, ना हाँ बोल रहे हैं ना बोल रहे हैं, बस इतना बोल रहे हैं हमें मालूम नहीं। और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है कि कोई भी ट्रेन के बारे में नहीं बता रहे, या बिहार हो या यूपी हो, कलकत्ता, बेंगलोर, कहीं का भी नहीं बता रहे। बस वो यही बोलता है ट्रेन ही नहीं है, सबको मार के भगा रहा है, ऑल पब्लिक को। बाद में अभी 11 बजे मार के भगाया था, फिर 12 बजे के करीब फिर वही पब्लिक को वापस बुला के अनाउंसमेंट कर रहा है आ जाओ कलकत्ता का ट्रेन है, चलो आप लोग लाइन में लगो। फिर उतना लंबा से करीबन 1 किलोमीटर आदमी दूर जाके वापस सामान उठा के फिर वही जगह पे जा रहे हैं, जहाँ से मार के भगा रहा है वही जगह पे वापस जा रहा है। अभी आप ये बताएं कि इतना फैमिली को लेके अगर एक इंसान आदमी इतना सामान उठाएगा या फैमिली संभालेगा?
So here, Tanvi, is the plight of the migrants, not only here, of course, in Dharavi, but the entire city of Mumbai. And what today we saw was the classic example. The migrants were told that there was one train which will head to West Bengal, but that did not really happen. It got cancelled at the last moment, so people had to really go back disappointed. And all of these are the people who have been working and living in Dharavi for the last 10 to 12 years, and right now they have this uncertainty. They do not really know the timings, they do not really have any communication. Lack of communication between the police and railway is one of the biggest reason, but at the end of the day it's the migrants that are really suffering with families. You can see, Tanvi, luggage, small kids, all of them at this point in time very tired, frustrated and disappointed.
Yes, absolutely. And these are the stories, these are the reasons why the Supreme Court had to step in today. This is the communication mess. This is the lack of accountability which is causing a huge amount of pain to our migrant workers across the country. Disha, thanks for joining us. From Mumbai, let's get you a story from Delhi. Now in Delhi, our reporter was at the railway station for several hours speaking to people who had gathered every day in the hope for a train. One set of them actually told Wajiullah that they were told there will be a train for them on May 22nd, but that never happened. And since May 22nd, they've just been waiting there. They've run out of money, they have nowhere to go, and they've been waiting. In fact, Waji also spoke with a lady who on an earlier day when she came there was told that there was no train, shooed away by the police, attacked by the police. She got injured on her leg, and with that injured leg, every day, even now, she comes to the railway station in the hope that she will be told when she gets to go home. Take a look.
Since the last 2 months, we've been seeing how migrants are walking the length and breadth of India. Despite the fact that the rail services are on, we still see them sitting in the corners of the street, waiting for a train, waiting for a bus, or waiting for some help from somewhere or the other, from the government at least, to make them to at least make sure that they go back home. We were on our lookout for such migrants, and we came across this group of people who have been sitting here right next to, like 100 meters away from the New Delhi railway station. We came here and we spoke to them, and we got to know their story and the difficulties that they have been facing to go back home. Let's speak to them and find out what are the problems that they have been facing. आप कहाँ से आए हैं basically?
नराइला से हम आए हैं,
नरेला से आए हैं। आप कहाँ जाना चाह रहे थे?
बिहार जाना चाह रहे हैं।
अच्छा, आपके साथ क्या हुआ बेसिकली? आप कब से कोशिश कर रहे हैं जाने की?
मैं तो आया हूँ, कल के आया हूँ, फिर कल गया तो पुलिस वाला बाहर भगा दिए।
हाँ।
अब बोले कि जाओ, उधर टिकट नहीं है तो आप नहीं आ सकते अंदर।
आपके साथ कोई मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम भी हुआ था सुनने में आया?
हाँ, वो ईंट गिर गया था तो चोट लग गया काम करने के वक्त, पैर नहीं काम कर रहा है।
कहाँ ईंट गिर गया था आपको?
यहाँ पर से यहाँ तक गिर गया, तो एक सारा बिक रहा है, एक सारा मेरा घर पर छूट गया।
अच्छा, कहाँ काम कर रही थी आप बेसिकली?
वो नराइला पास काम कर रहे थे।
हाँ।
वहीं
ईंट
पर
कैसे गिरा?
मतलब पैर फिसल गया तो ईंट गिर गया।
तो आप ये स्टेशन मास्टर को बताएं कि आपको प्रॉब्लम है करके?
नहीं बताए।
हाँ, नहीं बताया।
वहीं इलाज कराए, पैसा नहीं था हमको पास तो इलाज नहीं करा पाए।
हाँ, इलाज नहीं करा पाए बिकॉज पैसे नहीं थे आपके पास।
1 रुपया नहीं पैसे थे, एक आदमी है तो घर के खर्चे चलाएंगे कि दिखाएंगे।
So you heard she is having the problem that they are facing, that they are thinking whether they should spend money on their health care or they should spend money on their survival.
Well, in fact, from Delhi now, let's go to Jaipur, where we've been getting you reports repeatedly about how the migrants are being treated. Some of them have lost their job, they're unable to pay rent, so the landlords are throwing them out. And again, getting trains out of that place is also becoming difficult. Now, here is a story of a man from Hyderabad with his ailing mother who's desperate to get home and to get to Hyderabad for her treatment. But Ramesh says while his mother's health is worsening, there is no sign or hope about him getting a train. He has no money left and he is dependent on people giving him food outside the station. He has nowhere to go except wait for that train.
क्यों जा रहे हो?
अब जा रहा है, बाद में फिर आऊँगा।
अच्छा, अभी काम नहीं?
कभी काम मिल जाए तो करेंगे, कहूँ होटल पे काम मिल जाए।
माँ भी साथ में है, क्या दिक्कत रहा है यहाँ पे?
यहाँ की तबीयत खराब रहा था।
अच्छा, पर अभी काम नहीं मिल
दवा
रहा
कर रहे हैं, गोली दे रहा है।
अच्छा, अभी काम नहीं मिल रहा?
अभी नहीं मेरा, बाद में करूँगा।
नहीं, पर यहाँ रोड पे क्यों बैठे?
रोड पे बैठे हैं, ऐसे ही बैठे रहते। खाना वाना मिल जाए तो पैसा दे देता, कोई हाईवे को देता है, सामने खाना आ जाता है।
अच्छा,
खा लेता है, पैसा दे देता है, बस।
नेता लोग बोल रहे हैं 10,000 रुपये देना चाहिए मजदूर को जिसका काम चला जाए।
मेरा
हाँ, किसी को भी?
अभी नहीं मिला,
कुछ नहीं मिला?
अभी कोई नहीं दिया।
अच्छा,
अगर मिल जाए तो और बढ़िया है, खर्चा पानी।
अच्छा,
हम क्या है, बीमार रहते तो काम से कम सुनता है।
अच्छा,
उसको दवा करवाने हॉस्पिटल।
Ramesh and his ailing mother have been sitting here on the road near Jaipur railway station. They want to go back to their home in Hyderabad. Ramesh has lost his job in a restaurant, and what he is saying that if he gets rupees 10,000 from the government, it would be a very good thing for him. But here, what he needs is a ticket to Hyderabad to reach his home and some treatment for his ailing mother, which Congress government has not been able to provide in Rajasthan.
Well, amongst all of these really depressing stories and gut-wrenching stories of their pain and struggle, there is one story that really gives us hope. Not because the state or the center actually managed to step out of their way and give help to somebody, but because somebody else did. People like us from our own society stepped up to help the migrants. Here is a story, viewers, of a Delhi-based mushroom farmer who actually booked air tickets for 10 of the migrants who worked for him and sent them back to their home in Bihar. Take a look.
वो मशरूम का खेती करते थे, किसान हैं, तो हम लोग उन्हीं के पास काम करते थे। हम लोग को 1 अप्रैल तक हम लोगों को जाना था, तो हम लोग मार्च में फंस गए थे। 25 मार्च को लॉकडाउन हुआ तो उसमें फंस गए थे। तो सारा खाना पीना का व्यवस्था हम लोगों को मालिक ही किए। 2 महीने से हमको मुफ्त खाना पीना खिलाए और हमें ये पता नहीं कि हमको कितना खुराकी क्या लगा, वो सारा खर्चा मालिक ने दिया जी। और हम लोग अब जा रहे हैं।
Well, in fact, that was one of those stories where you actually saw a farmer step up and take care of the people who were working for him. He could afford it. He managed to find the money from somewhere, booked 10 plane tickets and sent these people home. If only more people would step up and take care instead of fighting them, abandoning them on the streets without no food, water, shelter or money. This is a story, viewers, that we should all take a lesson from. Now, very quickly, I want to bring you one more story. This is also from Maharashtra, but about migrants who belong to West Bengal. And they say that there have been several trains that have been announced and then cancelled. Now, of course, as far as West Bengal is concerned, there is now the added pressure point of a cyclone that's hit Bengal, and because of which several trains were cancelled. But the migrants that Kajal spoke to said they were told to come to the station at 7 in the morning, and after hours of waiting, they were all told to go back. They have no money and nowhere to go.
तो मैं एक बजे प्लेटफॉर्म के अंदर जाके देखा हूँ कि सभी प्लेटफॉर्म में 3 ट्रेन खड़े हैं। कम से कम 10-12 पुलिस वाले को पूछा हूँ कि आज हावड़ा का ट्रेन है क्या, किसी को पता नहीं कि किधर का ट्रेन है नहीं है। एक पुलिस वाले को पूछा, उन लोग बोल रहे कि आप अगर 1200 आदमी लेके आते हो एक साथ तो हम लोग ट्रेन छोड़ेंगे। एक ट्रेन में कम से कम
1200 तो होंगे यहाँ पे,
हो जाएगा, लेकिन उन लोग क्या बता रहे, 150 करोड़ रुपया खर्चा है, तो कम आदमी थोड़ी भेज सकते। आप 10 आदमी लेके आएंगे तो थोड़ी भेज सकते, कम से कम 1200 आदमी लेके आइए, फिर हम लोग छोड़ेंगे। हाँ, 1200 से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, 2 ट्रेन फुल हो जाएगा।
लोग को रात 1 बजे बोलो, पूरा रात भर जगह, वो रात 1 बजे बोले आप लोग गाड़ी नहीं है, तुम लोग चलाओ जाओ। लाठीचार्ज को हमको सब लोग को भगा दिया। हम लोग कलकत्ता जाने वाला ममता कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा है। कैसे इंसान, हम लोग इंसान नहीं हो, हम लोग इंसान नहीं हो, हम मान के खा रहा हूँ, हम लोग कैसा इंसान हो बोलो। मान लेके फिर जाऊंगा, फिर आऊंगा, काल से यही कर रहा हूँ, चांदनी मार्केट में खड़ा कर, फिर बोला गाड़ी कैंसिल है। तो हम लोग कहाँ पे जाएंगे मैडम? तो हम लोग इंसान नहीं है, हम लोग गरीब है इसलिए। वो जिसके पास पैसा है वो साला बास में सब चला जा रहा है मैडम, लेकिन हमारे लिए ममता बनर्जी नहीं है क्या?
कल नागपाड़ा में 2 बजे तक बिठा के रखा मैडम, कल नागपाड़ा में 2 बजे तक बिठा देगा, बोले 6 बजे गाड़ी है, 7 बजे गाड़ी है, 8 बजे है, 9 बजे है, 10 बजे है, फिर 2 बजे पुलिस आके मार के हम लोग वहाँ से भगाए। हम लोग नाके पे आया, नाके पे आके बोला गाड़ी नहीं है, जाओ तुम लोग वहाँ से भाग जाओ। हम लोग रूम पे क्या, रूम तो छोड़ दिया, हम लोग को खाने पीने का कुछ भी नहीं है। ममता दीदी ने 41 गाड़ी छोड़ा, हम लोग को मैसेज मिला, फिर भी हम लोग को गाड़ी नहीं मिल रही यहाँ से।
These were the stories that we brought to you, viewers. 10 stories, immense amount of pain and struggle, and nobody really turning up to help them. There are also stories that highlight the communication gap, the huge confusion, the lack of implementation, lack of empathy that our states and government authorities have been showing towards these people. On the other side of a very short break, I'm going to ask our political representatives, are we going to fix this problem now that the Supreme Court has stepped in? Stay with me. Just before we went into a break, we brought to you 10 different stories, viewers. 10 stories that show the plight of the migrants. 10 stories that show how they have been abandoned by the system, forgotten by the system. 10 stories that actually highlight how, despite so many announcements and plans on paper, policy decisions, on ground it all remains a mess. 10 stories that actually make us ask a lot more questions about who's really handling this entire migrant issue, who's planning and implementing the trains and buses for them and taking care of them. And we are not the only ones. We've been doing it every single day now for a long time. But today the Supreme Court had similar questions to ask. The topmost court in the country, the court that a few weeks ago decided it was not its place and there was no need for the court to step in, had a lot of questions of the state and the central government today. And this is what the Supreme Court asked in the course of this hearing. Supreme Court said, how will migrants pay for fare if the states don't? This is a question that the Supreme Court asked. Of course, later on they ordered that the states must ensure that they bear the brunt and the cost and not the migrants. Supreme Court was forced to ask the question, is food being supplied to the migrants? Supreme Court was forced to ask the question, why should there be a food shortage? The Supreme Court of our country was forced to ask this question to the authorities. Who is supplying food to migrants? A question we have been asking repeatedly. Who is responsible and who is supplying food to the migrants? How much longer to transport all the migrants home? What are the steps that are being taken to transport migrants? What is the mechanism in place to transport these migrants? These are the questions that the Supreme Court asked and then came out with an order which frankly should not have been required in our country. But because we weren't doing this in the first place, the governments weren't doing this in the first place, the Supreme Court today had to tell the states, please ensure you give them food and water. Please ensure you do their registration. Ensure they board a train or a bus. The Supreme Court had to tell the railways, please ensure you give them food and water during the journey. The Supreme Court had to tell the government what to do its own job. Now, can we ensure this happens? Let's ask our political representatives. Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now. Mr. Binoy Viswam, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, National Spokesperson for the BJP, Aishwarya Mahadev, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party, and Rajiv Ranjan, Spokesperson for the Janata Dal United. Let's begin with you, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal. As a party representative of a party that's at the center and in many states, this is a little embarrassing that a Supreme Court is had to tell the governments what they should have been doing already.
I think, Tanvi, we have to understand that the problem is very big, and the government is till date Mr. Tushar Mehta has said that we have migrated around 90 lakh migrant laborers to their native states. And initially, when the central government arranged for the trains, many of the state governments were not prepared. They were not ready to take them. Actually, there has to be a proper system through which the states will requisition who will go. We have seen just now in the Maharashtra what happened. Mr. Piyush Goyal was ready to provide 125 trains, but then the number who will travel, that list was not provided. Actually, these state governments are not well prepared. That is one problem, one part of the problem. I'm not saying the state government is the only problem. There has to be other issues that they cannot be. There is a huge chunk of migrant labor who want to travel and they are slightly panicky and they rush. I have seen in Noida what is happening here. There is a mechanism through which number of people can grow in each train. There is an online application. Then the state government will decide who all they issue passes to. And then only the local authority will be able to, as per those who are getting the pass, can book them and put them on the train. But there is a huge rush. More than people who are actually being issued passes, they come together and then there is confusion about which state the train is going. So these kind of operational issues, and if the problem is big, we have to understand that severity has to be tackled in a phased manner. That the central government is saying, and the state government have to come up more with regard to these issues. Then there are issues with where the quarantine people or migrant labor are staying in the state also. There are certain issues. We have seen several media reports also, and our ground report is also showing that some of the states have not made proper arrangement even for food and shelter at the places of migrant labor. Therefore, they are getting further panicky when the central government is providing.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Mr. Gopal Agarwal. You can blame you, and yes, you are right. The states have to take responsibility. There is massive chaos and confusion, which is the responsibility of the local authorities. But explain to me this, Mr. Gopal Agarwal. Why are people reaching the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar hungry and thirsty? In Madhya Pradesh, why are they jumping out of the train and running for food? They're not being given food and water. It's a journey that takes 5 days because the train is running so late, because you tell us there are jam-packed routes. For 5 days, in one train, they were given food only 3 times and no water. Now, what is the railways doing?
No, some issues which have cropped up will be taken care of. Ultimately, when there is no time for preparation, something at the ground level happens of this kind. I don't know why. I'm not very sure about actual situation on the ground, but we have been working, when we are working in Noida, what we are seeing is that the people who are boarding the train from here get on board with proper arrangement when they are boarding it. There was confusion through the passing states. So there are issues which will be resolved. I think ultimately central government gives out certain instruction guidelines and works on that. And we have more than 5 crore, around 5 crore migrant laborers. So these kind of issues are, because of certain rush, these arise. I think we have to be slightly more vigilant at the
I
ground level.
refuse to believe, Mr. Gopal Agarwal, that these issues are because of rush. Now, even if you say 25 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore migrants over the last 3 weeks have been transported in trains. That's nowhere close to the general amount of crowd that the railways is used to. It's nowhere close to that. So for us to say, oh, we can't manage these many trains and these many people on trains, it just goes on to show we don't care about these people, because our only job is to dump them in a train and just send them off 5 days later, receive them in another spot. We are forgetting about them. And I'm not saying this. This is the Supreme Court which is asking these questions. Let me actually go across to Mr. Binoy Viswam and ask him, Mr. Viswam. Mr. Viswam.
10 more seconds. Then I'll just stop. Others can speak. 10 more seconds.
Yes.
10 more seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. 10 seconds to Gopal Krishna Agarwal.
The railway have to make social distancing norms also. Sanitization, social distancing norm, the food that they are giving, there has to be a procedure guideline. This is a different kind of arrangement. This is not a normal arrangement that middle seat is not there, then social distancing at the time of booking center, online ticket, all this, and the entry, all these things. Even the police force, medical force, all have to work overtime. We have to look into that also aspect also. I'm not saying that the plight of migrant labor is less intense, but then we have to look into all the issues. And I think state governments are failing. In many of the state government are completely failing. You cannot just say that the center alone is responsible. Center is doing over what
of
is
course the
required
states are
for
also
day and night.
failing. Of course the states are failing. In fact, let me bring in our other panelists as well. Aishwarya Mahadev, the states are failing. You ask any state government, any local authority, what is the plan for the trains that are coming? There's utter confusion. Nobody knows. Trains are getting cancelled on a daily basis. People are being told the trains are coming, you need to come and board. Then they're told the trains are cancelled. They don't know when it's going to go next. Utter chaos and confusion in every single state.
Let's be very clear about one thing. There's an absolute lack of coordination that has existed from day one. Let me talk about March, when you decided to impose the lockdown itself. You gave 4 hours notice to not only the migrants, but everybody. And a lot of states were also left unaware. Then you went through 3 more phases of lockdown. And in the 4th stage, when you started allowing people to come back from foreign nations, who also had the contagion, along with allowing interstate migration, where cases started rising, you threw the entire onus on the state. And at no point was there joint coordination. All these CM meetings with Prime Minister Modi was great, right? Well and good. It looked wonderful for the optics. But what really came about it, right? What was the actual action taken after the interaction is something that we have asked. I think at the end of it, wherever you pin responsibility, you can pin it on whoever it is. I think this is the largest humanitarian crisis that should have been dealt with. It is shameful that a prime minister that came up and said, I will speak for the poor, I will work for the poor, is now turning a blind eye to the fact that 383 migrants, the minimum number we have died either by walking on foot, of starvation, or even in trains. For example, 9 people have died as of yesterday.
No, but Aishwarya,
stop this kind of
I would
languages.
expect
I don't
everybody
shameful
tonight
and
to take responsibility
this
for where
Congress
their
is
party
not
has
from this
failed.
country.
I'm sorry.
No.
This is
No,
not
no,
about
Tanvi.
pointing fingers at each other. 1 minute, Mr. Gopal Agarwal. I don't want the BJP to point
why
fingers
she's
at Congress, the
calling
Congress to
shameful?
point fingers
Rahul
at
Gandhi is
BJP. This has
complete
gone on for
shameful
1 full month. I am fed up of this happening. Mr. Gopal Agarwal, can you please not interrupt? Everybody heard you
But she
out.
should
I
not
am
use
here
this
and I am
kind
telling
of
the
words.
Congress party that I don't want blame to be put on others. What kind of words? There are no other objectionable kind of words that are being used here. Please, let's not derail this conversation. Yes, Aishwarya Mahadev, please take responsibility for the chaos in Rajasthan, for the chaos in Maharashtra, for the chaos in every single Congress ruled state as well, where you are not picking up the phone and coordinating with the central government either, simply pointing fingers.
Tanvi, the fact of the matter is, Central Railway, the 3,700 trains, as per also the Solicitor General has spoken about, were commissioned from the Ministry of Railways, which is run centrally, right? All these states, and this is the ground report also, the states don't get information of Shramik trains running prior to more than 24 hours. So at the end of it, the coordination, yes, in a lot of states, there is a lack of coordination also. I will admit it. But you need to realize the lack of coordination is not only coming one way from the states, Congress ruled or not, it comes from the fact that there seems to be so much political whataboutery about who sent the trains and where you did not. And at no point are people taking responsibility for death by starvation, lack of food on trains, trains completely going off the route where a Bihar bound train ends up in a Bangalore. And you're telling me that this is responsible. The Indian Railways runs 20,000 passenger trains on daily capacity. And you're telling me that 3,700 trains over 2-3 weeks is something that they cannot handle. I think this is systematic failure at every level. So everybody will take blame, understood, blame whoever you want, but fix the situation. Shameful that the Supreme Court has to take suo moto cognizance of this. And also, Tanvi, I will put this out and I will say this emphatically. In states when the migrant crisis was hitting its peak, the Congress party came out and offered to pay for the trains because passengers were still paying. There are videos of this even happening in states. So when the Supreme Court asked them now,
your offer in front of TV cameras, Aishwarya, unfortunately doesn't help, because in the state of Maharashtra, I know people are still having to pay. There are reports that have emerged from every state where migrants are still paying at the station. So all the offers in front of cameras don't help, because where the state governments are supposed to pay, they are not paying. State governments are not even paying their own share. I am sorry the Supreme Court has had to come and say that today and remind the governments. But let me go across to two more panelists who are with us. And Mr. Binoy Viswam, first to you. This is what the Supreme Court has had to say today is proof of a complete breakdown of communication between state and the center to take care of the migrants, isn't it?
No, what the Supreme Court today explained reflects the mood of the nation, the feeling of the people. I should say, as an activist of the Communist Party of India, that even the Supreme Court is delayed to intervene. Not only 1 day or 2 days or some weeks, for the last continuous more than 60 days, 2 months, this issue was burning in this country. We call them migrant laborers, but we never treated them as laborers. We never treated them as human beings. We were always doing injustice to them to the core, injustice. All of us should feel ashamed of ourselves. The government has failed. The railway has failed. All those people on authority who talks aloud of the workers and the poor, who claim that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, they were lying. They were lying. In front of their eyes, we could see this blatant negation of human rights as far as the migrant laborers are concerned. There's no need to tell you this whole story now. We are witnessing it. How can one forget that scene? A small child sitting and standing near the dead body of her mother, not knowing that mother is no more alive. That little child was trying to make her sleep, thinking that the mother is sleeping now. One scene. How can this nation forget those pieces of chapatis on the Aurangabad rail track? That old clothes that were on the rail tracks. The small children walking under scorching heats in search of food and water. Who are they? They are Indians. We taught them our brothers and sisters. And sometimes we talk about wealth creators. You great people, the rulers, you should know that you talk about wealth creators. These migrant laborers, they caused the wealth creation of 22% in this country, minus their sweats, their bloods, 22% of Indian wealth has not been erased. It's their contribution. They are wealth creators, but you never mind them. You never know them. You never know them. On a fine day in the night, you announced, stay where you are. Stay where you are. Yes, they have no other option but to stay where they were. And then, what about their foods, their shelter,
right,
their water? Nothing is there. Nothing is there. After waiting for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, they began to walk on their foot. On their foot, they told the people, let Corona can come and kill us. But
yes,
have to
but
go
Mr.
to our
Viswam,
villages
I
and
understand
die
what
there.
you're saying, but even then, that change in policy, Mr. Viswam, if I may just come in, happened even for a month ago. I think it was on 2nd or the 3rd of April that the government announced a decision to start trains for these migrants, and the first train went on 7th of May. It's been a month almost, and we are still struggling. We still don't have a comprehensive policy. We've just left it to states to bicker amongst themselves, talk or not talk amongst themselves. It's been a chaos. Now, I'm hoping after the Supreme Court's intervention, something will change. But I just want to go across to Mr. Rajiv Ranjan. Mr. Ranjan, ये एक आपको नहीं लगता ये बड़ी दुख की भी बात है और चिंता का भी विषय है कि लोग जो पहुंच रहे हैं उत्तर प्रदेश बिहार 4 दिन 5 दिन लग रहे हैं उनको ट्रेन में, गर्मी के मौसम में 50 डिग्री के टेम्परेचर में उनको 5 दिन में 3 बार खाना मिल रहा है, पानी नहीं मिल रहा है, भूख से प्यास से मर रहे हैं वो। क्या फायदा है ऐसी ट्रेनें चलाने का?
पहले अभी मैं एक विजुअल देख रहा हूँ आपके स्क्रीन पर। पहली बात तो ये एक वीडियो मैंने कोऑर्डिनेटर को भेजा है, उसको प्ले करेंगी तो फिर इसकी हकीकत आपको पता चल जाएगी। देखिए, सच ये है, ये भूख से मौत नहीं हुई है, ये बार बार प्रचारित कराया जा रहा है आपके चैनल पर, अभी आपने ऐसा कहा नहीं है, लेकिन जो भूख को लेकर के जो तस्वीर है आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑब्जर्वेशंस और जो डायरेक्टिव्स हैं उसमें बिल्कुल साफ है कि जिस स्टेट से ट्रेन रवाना होगी वहां उनको खाना देने का काम उस स्टेट को करना है, रेलवेज को खाना खिलाना है, और फिर जिस स्टेट में उनको पहुंचना है डेस्टिनेशन स्टेट में, वहां से रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बिहार या उत्तर प्रदेश जैसे स्टेट की होगी। तस्वीर बिल्कुल साफ है। चाहे फ्रेट रेगुलेशन पॉलिसी की वजह से इस देश में 2 तरह के इकोनॉमीज बने, 2 तरह के स्टेट पूरे देश में दिखेंगे आपको। एक तरफ मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, बिहार, झारखंड, बंगाल, उड़ीसा जैसे राज्य हैं, दूसरी तरफ देश के बाकी राज्य हैं। जिन राज्यों का नाम मैंने लिया यहाँ, ये मजदूर भेजने वाले देश हैं, राज्य हैं जहाँ कोई फैक्ट्री, एक सिटी के कृष्णाचारी की कृपा से एक लिए गए फैसले से देश में ऐसी स्थिति बनी कि 1952 ऑनवर्ड 1993 तक कोई फैक्ट्री इन राज्यों में लगने की स्थिति नहीं बनने जा रही थी। और उसके बाद जो परिस्थितियां बनी देश में, जिन राज्यों की हालत जो भी रही हो, लेकिन बिहार जैसे राज्य को 15 वर्ष लालू जी का कार्यकाल भी देखना पड़ा जहां अपहरण के सिवाय कोई उद्योग नहीं था। लेकिन ये जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का डायरेक्टिव है, मैं समझता हूं अब इसमें क्लैरिटी है। बिल्कुल कहीं कोऑर्डिनेशन की कमी की वजह से किसी की मौत हो, अब ये किसी पर कोई आरोप मढ़ करके निकल आए, इतना आसान नहीं होगा। मुझे लगता है इस बयान को मल्टी पार्टी सिस्टम के लिए क्वेश्चन मार्क, मैं मानता हूं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो भी कहा इसको उस पर्सपेक्टिव में देखा जाना चाहिए। कांग्रेस के स्पोक्स पर्सन को मैं सुन रहा था, और ये ब्लेम गेम का टाइम नहीं है। हम तमाम लोगों के बीच अगर कमियां दिखी है तो आज भी ये समझना होगा कि इतनी बड़ी आबादी अगर देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों से दूसरे हिस्से में जा रही है, उनको कठिनाइयों का सामना कम करना पड़े। और मुझे लगता है इसके लिए जिस तरह के निर्देश हैं, कई बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट के गाइडलाइंस, उनके डायरेक्टिव्स, उनके स्पिरिट को हर्ट करना, मैं समझता हूँ ये मानवता के साथ छल होगा। और मेरी सरकार पूरी ईमानदारी के साथ जो भी इसमें निर्देश है इसका पालन करेगी।
जी, लेकिन आपकी सरकार का तो रोल इसमें कमी है। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो पैसे भर सकते हैं टाइम पे, समय पे, रीइंबर्स करने के बजाय पहले जब टिकट खरीदना होता है ट्रेन में चढ़ने के लिए तब। उसके आगे तो बाकी सरकार राज्यों का काम है। वहाँ पे नीतीश कुमार जी को ये खड़े होकर सवाल पूछने पड़ेंगे कि क्यों लोगों को ट्रेनों में पानी नहीं मिल रहा और खाना नहीं मिल रहा। ये एक इंस्टेंस नहीं है राजीव रंजन जी, कम से कम 10 इंस्टेंस हमारे पास आ चुके हैं इसी हफ्ते, अलग अलग स्टेशन से, मध्य प्रदेश, उत्तर प्रदेश से भी। तो ये प्रॉब्लम है कि पानी और जो खाना है वो नहीं मिल रहा है, इसीलिए आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट को ये बताना पड़ा राज्यों को कि ये इंश्योर कीजिए कि उनको दिया जाए। कंप्लीटली आउट ऑफ टाइम, आई एम गोइंग टू थैंक ऑल ऑफ आवर पैनलिस्ट फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। आई होप दैट द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स and the center and the railways at least take the message from Supreme Court now and start doing their job, start talking to each other and do what they should have been doing for the last 3 weeks in terms of taking care of these people, ensuring that they reach their home states. If they want to go, give them a train, give them a bus, don't make them pay, ensure they have food and water and that they are taken care of. That's all that has to be done, viewers. Completely out of time. Thank you for joining us.